was with somebody who didn't want to be with me, and who was afraid to say that they didn't want to be with me, who strung my feelings along for a year and a half, a good year and a half, strung my feelings along and made me think that they actually could be committed, could honor vows, and had the endurance to endure a relationship and take responsibility and accountability for what they had done. And because I don't want to sound like a raving lunatic, the truth is the truth. It's not to smear anybody or to talk bad about anybody. My husband cheated on me when I for the full duration of my pregnancy with the twins. And I had no clue, or I probably just didn't pay attention to the signs because I was so hopped up off of my own hormones and just being, you know, excited and shocked that we were having twins and expanded our family. And I remember going to work, because I worked in the pharmacy, y'all, going to work and just gushing and about my family and just saying how I feel. Even though we were unprepared for twins, I felt blessed enough to know that the twins would be entering into a family that had two parents that truly loved each other and were in it for the long haul, meaning for the duration of our lives, come hell, high water, whatever. And I come to find out something completely different, and I left. And that's when I picked up the camera and started vlogging, because I know you guys saw my whole little message to you guys. I said I started vlogging, and when I was in a very, 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 very dark place. When I was in the hospital, I went into preterm labor just because of all the stress that I had come into from finding out, talking to the other woman, and still having my spouse say that, you know, the hell with you, basically, and you want nothing to do with you. So that sent me into the hospital. Almost lost the babies. I mean, it's the truth. It's not meant to hurt anybody or defame anybody. It's the truth, and sometimes it's hard to accept what the truth is. That's what it was. And I think that's why it was so hard for me. You guys would always ask, new people would always ask to hear the story of, you know, the twins and how they were born. My spouse was not there for their birth because of his behavior. And that's just what it was. So long story short, I started vlogging because I was in such a painful place, and I just wanted to pick up the camera and have something else to do, something else to focus on, other people to talk to, you know, see what the YouTube community was like. And it was a suggestion from my sister that says, hey, you know, you could actually do this. She's like, you got personality and all this. And I was like, hey, why not, you know? So that's what I did. But in the year, because I didn't come back straight away after having the twins, I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with a man who's gonna do this to me while I'm pregnant, desert me and abandon me, and treat me like I was powder, nothing, you know, while I was carrying babies and whatever, you know. So I was convinced that I was never going to go back to him. But you know, people reel you back in with their promises and their stories, and I fell for it. Yes, I did. I fell for it. I fell for it, and I fell for it hard. I blame myself because having postpartum depression that I dealt with after having the twins, and just having those hormones of just wanting to be with the father of my children. I was not in a position to make a decision, and I don't think it was right for somebody to play on my vulnerabilities and to make me think by me coming back that they would heal with me instead of making me feel like I needed to heal alone, or that my untrust for them was unmerited, or, you know, that my questions and wanting to heal was just, it was my issue and not theirs. And I tried for, I think it's about a year. So I came back after the twins was like 4 months. Y'all saw the twins was like maybe like 3 to 4 months old. Preemies, so they still looked like newborns, but you know, they were preemies, 2 months premature, y'all. And like I said, it's a miracle that I even got to the hospital and gave birth to living babies. I just want to say that, and I want to thank God for that. If it wasn't for my mother pressing on me and pushing me to get up and go to the hospital, and I'm like, oh, I'm fine, it's nothing, you know, it was nothing but the grace of God and just moving me to get there, because when I got to the hospital, I was forced into meatus dilated and I was in labor. And you guys will see that video. I'll leave the link down below of me talking, hopped up all types of all medications in the hospital, y'all. So yeah, that day, actually it was the day before, the cloud will get you in trouble, y'all. I had found out my husband had been carrying on a relationship for my whole pregnancy and before that, and I was crushed. And when you look up the definition of pregnancy, it is a medical condition or disease, which is so crazy to me that it's defined as that. But one thing you don't do is you don't mess with a pregnant person, and you don't mess with a person dying already. Like, what's the point? And I just felt like, dog, way to kick me when I'm down, you know? Way to kick me when I'm down. And during my pregnancy, and while we were separated during my pregnancy, we weren't even separated. I had to leave. The doctor told me that it was best for me to leave, otherwise that I was gonna have a miscarriage being in Virginia. And he didn't want me there. He helped me pack my bags, all that, child. He didn't want me there. So and of course I forewarned him that you're gonna miss the birth of your babies, and it's the truth. He didn't care. He didn't care. So Christmas, New Year's, all of that I spent in the hospital. And yeah, dealing with that stress. So I said, upon going back, you know, you can't ever do this to me again. Like, how could I ever begin to even trust you? Where does it start? You know, and here comes the promises and the lies. So it'll be different. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I don't need friends. I know I don't need this, I don't need that. I just need you, Valencia. I just need you. So we know that's a lie, because and not so much on my marriage, this is for any marriage. When you get married, you can no longer live like a single person. When you get married, you make a commitment to be with your other partner for better or worse, sickness and health, death do us part. I feel like today, in today's society, marriage is a joke. When you get mad, people want to get a divorce. When you don't feel like you're living your life before how you was when you weren't married, then people are unhappy, or, you know, I can't go out no more, or I don't feel like I got it no more, or yada, yada. Well, that's because you're no longer single, you're married. And when I tell you I gave up a lot for this relationship, even being in Virginia, I gave up a friendship because I felt like it wasn't conducive to my marriage, because my friend, you know, truth is, she was a hoe. And I said, you know, I'm not gonna be able to hang out with this person, especially if I'm trying. Who am I to be like, oh, no, you know, I'm not gonna forgive you for how you stepped out on me, but I'm gonna surround myself with hoish minded females. No, you are who you are with. Okay, I am who I'm with. So I gave that up. But it's more stuff behind that was revealed. But it just, you know, I just wasn't with a person who knew how to honor vows without trying to make me feel like I was a controlling spouse that interrogated that person. And I feel like if you are a married person, there's no reason for you to be hanging out with cheaters, especially if you're a cheater, pumpkin eater. If you are a responsible adult who goes to work, there's no reason for you to be hanging out with people that smoke pot or be around people that smoke pot, because it's not conducive to your life, unless we live in Colorado. You know what I'm saying? But we don't. So felt like I was trying to raise a man. Felt like I was always trying to make that person be a better person. And if a person don't want to be a better person, you can't make them be a better person, because it's only going to backfire on you, and it's only going to make you look crazy and deranged. And if you and your spouse aren't best friends, it's hard. So, you know, I was just with a person that enjoyed talking about me to his friends, which is crazy to me, because I'll always be like, gee, I wonder why his friends don't really like me. It was because whatever pillow talk that me and him had, or whatever, or however he was feeling, he would go and he would unleash that on other people. And he would, even when he knew he had done something, this was a trigger, when he knew he had done something wrong, and I would call him, he would keep me on speakerphone so that he could let people hear my anger. And then he would come home and say to me, my friend said they don't like how you talk to me. Well, number one, I'm not married to your friend. Number two, your friend has no clue what type of person you really are. And number three, since when do friends direct how you feel in your marriage? And that's how you know when I say zebras be with zebras and deers be with deers. If you don't have friends who in a good place in their marriage, then, and you in a good place in your marriage, there's no way that person can say anything positive to you about your relationship. Okay? If, hypothetically speaking, if your husband's best friend is a man who had an outside baby on his wife, and all he knows how to do is never be at home, what, pray tell, is that person going to put into your husband? Men mentor men, okay? Men are friends with other men because they feel like that friend gives them some type of insight. Men aren't just friends with just any old people. You know what I'm saying? Men aren't like girls are like, oh yeah, girl, we about to look cute. It's like, bruh, what you doing? Because that's what I'm doing. Like, whatever they do alike. So if your spouse is hanging out with something that is so opposite and off track from where your marriage should be, it's not a good look. And there's nothing you can do if your spouse doesn't realize that that's off. So I say this to people because I still believe in love and I still believe in marriage. If you are someone's friend, and if you are not speaking for that person's marriage, you're speaking against their marriage. If you have nothing positive to say about that spouse, wife, husband, or whatever, don't say nothing at all. It's not your place, because you have no idea how you may influence a person. At the end of the day, that is that person's own choice to gather up their berries and put them in a basket and be like, well, this is the I'm in an unhappy marriage basket of berries. You know, that's their own doing. But you have to be conscious of how you influence people. And I feel like my purpose here on YouTube is to influence you guys. Number one, to be good best friends. Don't speak ill about anybody's marriage unless you're in it, unless you know the details. And that's for girlfriends, because I've had girlfriends who have been cheaters on their husbands, and I would think, well, it's not my place, but I'm not going to say anything bad about that husband. Because 9 times out of 10, when a person steps out on their marriage, the cheater wants to make the other spouse feel like it's something wrong with them. Well, you don't do this. Well, you don't fulfill my needs. Well, you're always unhappy. Well, we don't do this. So I went out and cheated. No, you went out and cheated because you're a cheater. I couldn't make you not be a cheater. You were already a cheater. That's something in you that you need to figure out as to why you were a cheater. It has nothing to do with me as a person. Nobody, not even my own husband, could drive me to cheat. And I feel like if anybody, I could have went out there and been like, I'm about to go do what he did to me 2 times over and double, baby. But 2 wrongs don't make a right, and it would not have been an excuse for me to go out and do what he did, to say that, oh, well, he pushed me to it. No, you don't fall on a penis, okay? No. That's not what happens. It's your own accord. It's what happens in your own brain that pushes you to do that. The mind is a powerful thing. So with all that said, I'm glad I had enough courage to leave. I'm glad that I realized that my feelings were being played with. I was in a place where I really needed to repent and acknowledge that I was just as much of a sinner for putting so much trust into a damned situation, you know, putting so much feeling, so much hope, and so much of me into it, and losing myself and not seeing what was going on in front of me. I can be accountable for that. And you know, even while I was here in Jacksonville, you know, I did have some while I'm here in Jacksonville, I had some communications with my spouse, and it was just him stringing my feelings along and then setting me up just to crush my feelings when I said, you know, I think I do want to come home. Because mind you, now I think I've been here for about like 2 months now. The whole time I was here, we would have conversations, and that person would be like, oh, come home, I asked you to come home, yada 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 yada. And then that, as soon as that moment came when he felt that I was being vulnerable to him again, it was like, I don't want you to come home. What was it all for then? You don't just stop wanting somebody to come home after this whole time you've been begging me to come home. Like, okay. Lo and behold, they revealed to me they were just doing it just because they could. So, what's that saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Shame on me. That was a shame on me. Shame on me, Lord. So that's why I took a break, because my feelings were played with so awful, so bad, that person just wanted to see me break down, wanted to see me hurt people. They really do. And not wanting to be accountable for their own actions. It's easy when you hurt somebody to be like, oh, well, I did it because, instead of just being genuinely sorry, even if you can't ever fix what you did, it's being genuinely sorry. Because when you are genuinely sorry, there's certain things that just ain't gonna happen again, you know? Hypothetically speaking, if I cheated on my spouse, I wouldn't put myself in a situation to even be in the same room full of cheaters. Hypothetically speaking, if I was on methamphetamines, a recovering meth head, I wouldn't hang out with the meth dealer. that is playing with fire and is not respecting myself or respecting the other people around me who have dealt with my addictions. When you are genuinely sorry, you just are. But when you're not, and then you build a defense mechanism, and it's everybody else's fault but your own. Oh, but child, she has rambled on and on with this one, hasn't she? I was supposed to be going into Ulta. Let's go into Ulta, best friends. I know some people won't understand a bit what I just said. Some people will. Some people will agree. Some people won't. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion per their own situation. But for my situation, you're not. Because you have no idea what I've been through. No idea what I've been through.